Hey guys, this is Joseph Lucero with Powerlifting Technique, and today what we're going to talk about is the incline press. We're going to talk about how to perform the incline press, the muscles being used, different variations, what's an optimal angle for an incline press, and then does the incline even help me with my bench press? So to start things off, we always want to talk about the muscle anatomy. And with the incline press, what it's doing is it's challenging your pressing muscles similar to or pretty much the same as like a horizontal press, like a bench press. But because you're at an incline, so a little bit more elevated, what it's going to do is it's going to work the triceps, the anterior deltoid, and it's going to work the pectoralis major, but it's going to work more of the upper fibers. So with your pec anatomy, if you're not aware, you got a few bones you want to be aware of. You got your sternum, which is your chest plate, which you can feel covers the heart, etc. You got the clavicle, that is your collarbone. And what happens is the pec muscles originate from the sternum and part of the clavicle. So they start here and all these fibers will shoot into your upper arm, the humerus. So when your humerus extends or adducts, okay, like a chest fly or a bench press or any kind of press, the pec major is going to be recruited. But because you're at a different position, it's exposing these upper fibers. If you were to do a bench press, it'd be more of these sternoclavicular, the middle fibers, and then if you did like a dip, it'd be like the lower fibers. But nonetheless, you are working the same muscles as a bench press, but more of the upper fibers. So here in a little bit, when we talk about how does an incline help with your bench press, the main gist is gonna be it challenges those pressing muscles from a different position, which can help provoke soreness, fatigue, maybe a little bit of muscular confusion, if you will, and it can help aid your bench press in that fashion. But let's go ahead and talk about how to perform the incline. So obviously you see myself at an incline. You do see the angle of the incline looking a little bit more flat than upright. So for me, I kind of define the degrees of the incline as like 20, 30, 45's in the middle. So right here's flat. 20, 30, 45's like halfway. You got 60, 70. So obviously the higher you go on the incline, the more you're gonna prioritize the middle to upper pec and eventually the shoulder joint. And then it becomes like a vertical press at that point. But this is the lower one. I would say it's more 30 degrees. And this is more of the one I enjoy as a powerlifter. Now, if you're a strong man and you want to integrate more of your vertical press, but still maintain some of your bench pressing power, I'd say use 45 degrees. And then like on your shoulder day or secondary pressing day, I would go higher, like 60 degrees, etc. But for a powerlifter, I would venture the 20 to 30 degrees makes the most sense because it's not far off a horizontal press. But then again, it'll allow you to get variety in your training and to not stay stagnant on a horizontal press. Because the more you master a skill, the less energy you're gonna use. So then muscular recruitment and exhaustion kind of changes. So how to perform this movement? I'm gonna pick up my dumbbells. I'm gonna set them vertical on my lap. And for myself, what I do is I'll lean back, kick up one and kick up the other. If you were to, now I picked lighter dumbbells for this so I wouldn't look silly. But if you were to do both at the same time, now your core is overloaded and it just doesn't make sense for your transition. So lean back, kick one up, kick the other, and then you're gonna change your grip to an overhand, and then you're gonna get your head back. You wanna keep your back flat against the bench, your head against the bench, your hips, your feet down. You don't wanna get into the power position and start doing all those things you would for your bench press, because right now, we're not worried about our incline being like a major component of our training. It's just secondary and accessory to us. So I'm gonna press up and down. Notice how the dumbbells go away and towards the midline of my body. When this happens, that really starts to recruit those pec muscles, because your pec muscles, I'm gonna lay these down, help with extension and adduction. So what's tough about a bench press is it's just forwards and backwards. Your grip doesn't change like the incline can, where it can go together and away, together and away. Now, if you wanted to do the incline with a barbell, that's okay, but I opted to do this video with a dumbbell just to give you even more variety with your training. Now, let's say you're a powerlifter and you want to make sure that you optimize this exercise as much as possible for your ability. Make sure that perhaps instead of going towards and away the midline, you keep your pressing forwards or up and down just to accommodate for that barbell you'll use in training. For me, I still believe towards and away is a little bit more helpful for variety, and it's that adduction and abduction action that would happen in the transverse plane. Now, what are some variations I can do? So let's say, for example, I have an athlete who does a pronated grip and says, man, my shoulder joint just really hurts. What you can do is, instead of going pronated, you can go neutral grip, stack your elbows a little bit more, and see how my elbows are tucked? Now I'm really challenging the triceps and the deltoids and taking away a little bit of strain from the pec major. Because in that fashion, I wasn't abducting and adducting, I was just sagittal forwards and backwards. There is a variation of the incline that isn't super popular, but I've done it in other videos, well, rather this grip. So instead of going pronated or neutral, you can go underhand, and that can really challenge your shoulder joint and your elbows. So this would contradict someone who had a lot of that shoulder pain from before. So you could pick which one makes more sense for you. But for me, I usually pick a pronated position, and I'll tell clients go away and towards the midline. Or if I have a client who needs stronger triceps, I'll tell them to go hammer grip, because then it'll keep the elbow joint inside and help them with their performance from there. So like we've been talking about, the muscles used are the pec major, the triceps, the anterior deltoid. The demonstration showcased my movement with abduction, adduction, flexion, and extension. The optimal angle I mentioned for powerlifters is 20 to 30 degrees. A lower incline, which makes more sense for their horizontal press. And then I talked about variations that would be great for someone who needs some variety and maybe wants to alleviate any pain in certain areas. Now, how does this movement help your bench press? So you ever notice how in bench press, the bar starts to curve and moves upward? Sometimes when you press and your elbows flare out, the bar starts to fly above you, and the bar moves out of optimal bar path and might slide upward. What I think about the incline is I feel like it's a misgrooved bench press in a way. So what's nice about it is if you can learn how to horizontal press optimally, and you have a little bit of that natural curve that happens with the bench press, if you can start training from an incline or a decline, like dips as well, things like that, now you're so strong in all these different positions. You have so much angular strength, and now you can adjust to when things change. Because we know when it comes down to it, you can hit the weights in the gym, but when it comes time to compete in powerlifting especially, it's always about who shows up on meet day. And if you misgroove or get yourself out of that natural bar path that you want, if you can know how to press out of different positions, you'll be ready for when things go bad. So in that sense, that's why I think the incline helps. And I think it also helps recruit all your pressing muscles, but from a different position to provoke soreness, exhaustion, that is the catalyst for growth and development. So again, my name is Joseph Lucero. I'm with Powerlifting Technique. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have more questions or comments, leave them in the comments section. Sometimes that's where we find new ideas for new videos. And obviously, like I mentioned before, subscribe, like the channel, and hopefully we catch you next time.